walk like I'm having some money, you can just tell. Same track jacket, Jordan rocked in 97.
Hey, this is Andre Lewis, and today you are watching the show, So What Do You Do? And coming from the itty bitty city by the water that's steady getting taller, Vallejo, California, we have the Black Picasso of the Bay Area, Quest Williams, also known as Irk Originals. Being a visual artist isn't easy, but when you're Quest, you make it look easy. Thriving with his clothing line, Irk Originals, and doing custom paintings and custom art for anyone who wants to order online. You can also find his art at irkoriginals.com. I'm super excited to have him here today on the show to hear how he flourished and how he creates on the show, So What Do You Do? Irk, how you doing?
I'm good, man. How you?
I'm doing good. So Quest, my question for you is, what exactly does Irk stand for?
In '02, I needed a name for my custom t-shirts. There was Moschine Originals and other originals, so I needed something with an originals. And I'm naturally annoying, so I said my artwork is so dope it's annoying.
Oh, that's dope. That's dope though. That's dope. My art is so dope.
One day, me and my boy was looking through the thesaurus and Irk just popped out, and it stuck, and it's been that since then.
So when did it?
2002.
2002. So this is now the 18th year?
Technically, yeah. But it's my 4th year doing art.
So did you start off doing visual art, or were you just doing how did you start off?
Literally painting on t-shirts. It started with a permanent marker at my grandma's house because I left my backpack, so I didn't have no paper. Had a white t-shirt, black permanent marker, put it on an ironing board, drew a character that looked like me, big ears, big lips. Went to school, wore it. Somebody asked for one, give me $5 and you could get one.
That sounds like me too.
So that's how it started, and I've been just going ever since.
Dang, that's huge. So you started off doing t-shirts, sweaters. I see you have one of your pieces on now. I actually got one of his pieces on also. This is something that you can find online. So you started off doing t-shirts. Is that how you began to flourish? I know you use the term flourish in some of your art and some of your clothing. Where did the word flourish start to begin?
Well, flourish for me started by making fun of Stephen A. Smith. Because Stephen A. Smith used to always talk about putting the guy in the system so he could flourish, and you know how he's awkward and he does all his extra movement. So it was me and my boy, and again another friend of mine, and we'd be on the phone and I'd be like, bro, you're not flourishing, bro. Or we'd go out to get chicks. We gotta flourish tonight.
So you was using this as a joke?
Yes, originally until I looked up the definition, and it fit. It stands to grow. It stands for things that are extravagant and bright colors. So it fit my art. Right. And so now it's tattooed. It is tattooed on my hand.
Wow, okay.
And it's a motto that I live by. So I'm just trying to flare.
No, that's a strong motto.
It makes sense. It works.
Which is why you guys out there who's watching this, who's listening on what Quez and Irk is saying right now, you guys have to flourish. All throughout your life, just flourish and just keep going, keep it rocking. So in your opinion, what exactly is a visual artist?
To be honest, I had no idea, right? I just wanted something that looked cool in my bio because I was like, I didn't have a lane that I sat in when I create. So I looked up the term visual artist and it kind of embodied everything. So I'm a visual artist, I guess.
So then what inspired you to become a visual artist?
I've been drawing since I was 4. And I never stopped. They give you the crayons and all that. And I started school at 4. So in kindergarten, I've been drawing since then, yeah. And that was the one thing that I was good at. And I never wasn't good at it. And I didn't know why I was good at it, so I just kept going.
How would you explain your style of painting?
My style is a mixture, a combination of things. I'm sporadic and random, so my artwork is sporadic and random. I like colorful things. I love women. I love cartoons. So if you look at my artwork, there's gonna be a lot of women in cartoons. And every now and then, when I'm feeling like I need to express myself politically, since I can't rap, I'll get in that bag. But I still have to put some type of character in it. Like I had this piece called Hunting Season, and it was like it's a little black kid walking home from school, and it shows all of the things that he could possibly face that's dangerous. But I incorporated like Elmer Fudd, but then I had like, you know, Looney Tunes used to have like those blackface and the manly cartoons. So I added all of those elements. I added like, you know, the lady, like the barbecue Becky chick and all that. You know what I mean? I had Chief Wiggum from The Simpsons.
So you're really just making a combination of different things.
All the elements that could be dangerous in that situation. But it's a real thing, but you see some familiar things with the cartoons, and it lightens it up, so it starts the conversation a little different. Because, you know, people get offended when you say, look, y'all weird and y'all doing things to people that look like me. Yeah, right. But if I make it softer for them to understand, then they're more receptive to the conversation, so they don't feel attacked.
And you actually have some of these paintings behind us right now. I wanna stand up and go find out exactly what inspires you to do some of them, and how'd you first started, because you were explaining, you know, you like to have the combination. I see you have Minnie Mouse in a woman body right there. You have, is that Donald Duck?
Scrooge McDuck.
Scrooge McDuck.
Yes.
You got Scrooge McDuck. You got Krusty as the Joker.
Yes.
And who is this here?
Well, I had a series of women in ski masks called The Ski Mask Way. One night I was listening to Biggie, drinking Hennessy White. It was like 3 a.m. Oh yeah, I was painting. I was on Tumblr scrolling through all the nudie pics for references. So I decided, let me throw a ski mask on her, because I didn't like the way her face looked. And then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make a series. It started like the first one had a Coogee mask to represent Biggie in his Coogee sweater. Then I started doing like Chanel masks and Fendi masks, and different designer stuff, because, you know, people like stuff that they can't afford. Yeah. So I figure if I put the name brand things that they like in my paintings, then when I tell them the high price, they'll recognize it as a luxury item. And yeah, so that just evolved, and now I have like 30 some odd pieces of women in ski masks.
Wow.
And it was gonna be a clothing line of mine called Sophisticated Ignorance. So I would have women in evening gowns.
Wow.
With ski masks on, with like champagne and the opulence and all of the, you know, this, you know.
And you can also even just perceive that any type of way too. Like you said, that's sophisticated ignorance. You know, you see them, like you said.
I write my curses in cursive. Shout out to Kanye.
Oh yeah, exactly. I was gonna say that's a Kanye verse right there, a little bar.
Oh yeah.
What's the first steps of starting a painting? Like, how do you look at a blank canvas and say, this is where I'm going to start, and this is how I'm going to move forward?
It definitely depends, because I'll have a vision in my mind every now and then, and I'll start with a sketch directly onto the canvas with either paint or a color pencil. But 9 times out of 10, I scrap that. I'll do a whole painting and say I don't like it, and then I'll just start adding layers of color on top of it. And then from that layers of color, it just goes. I don't know exactly where it comes from. And I think my best work comes when I'm just not thinking and I'm just going. Because when I plan things out, it never works out how I want it to work. So I learned that I should just go with the flow. That's why I just gotta have the right playlist going. If it's cold outside, then I'm gonna have some type of adult beverage to keep me warm and random, and then I'm just go from there.
Yeah, you actually said something about creating layers on top of layers of other paintings. You were explaining earlier this Minnie Mouse piece was originally a painting behind something.
The Minnie Mouse piece started out as my version of the girl from Pulp Fiction. So, you know, I forgot the character's name, but she had like a little bob type thing, and she had a cigarette. I was flipping that. I didn't like the face, so I have my Flourish face, the face that's on the Maryland.
Can I stand up?
Yeah, so that face right there, I tend to put that on things when I don't like the original. So I basically, I put that face on the character, and I still didn't like the painting, so I covered it up. Then I added another woman. She was chilling. I didn't like her either. So then I added Bart Simpson. I didn't like him.
So Bart Simpson is also inside there?
He's up. Her head kind of blocks where he was at, but if you look closely, you can see an eye past the shoulder, a head,
A hand, like a paw print, or is that a paw that's right there?
in the corner in the black. Nah, that's my tattoo. It's one of my original logos.
Like right by her nose.
Oh no, that's the top of the head. And you see it. You see an ear, and yeah. So it's like multiple faces. I turned it upside down, added colors, dripped. And then I was supposed to sell a canvas of a naked woman to this guy. He catted. I didn't like the face. So I said, Disney Europe. So she's Disney now.
For everyone who doesn't know what catted means, that means he flaked on you. That means he, like left you behind, then, just left you in the dust. For those of you who don't know what catted means. That's a Bay Area term, by the way, okay? At what point do you say, because obviously you were just explaining that, you can go back to a painting and just keep going again. At what point do you look at a painting and say, you know what, I'm finally done with this piece. No more.
Sometimes that's the hardest thing to know when to stop. But when I can't do anything to improve it, when I draw a blank on adding to it or subtracting, especially on the heavy color pieces and the pieces with the backgrounds, I don't want it to look muddy, so I have to make sure that I don't overdo it. And I have to make sure I mix colors that not necessarily complement each other, because I don't want it to be matchy-matchy. I just want it to look like, hey, he might have knew what he was doing when he did this. Yeah. That's the end goal, is to pretend or to fake it like I know what I'm doing. Because 9 times out of 10, I'm just going with the flow. And whatever comes from it is what comes from it. So
honestly, I've gone to little paint nights and things like that, and I never expect to wow, my painting came out good. And I don't think that I can just go on a blank canvas and look at it and then create, something similar. I feel like you gotta something in your brain has to be a little bit different than the average person.
Slightly off. You gotta be slightly off. You gotta be. You kind of to create things that don't exist. Is something wrong with you. You either got a God complex or you just a little weirdo.
I'm gonna say you got a God complex.
Yes and no. I'm extremely confident about just me. I'm getting more confident about my art as it goes, but when I'm talking about me, I think I'm somebody. I thought that since I was a kid. I've been practicing my signature since 4th grade. And so I always knew in my mind I was gonna be something special. I just didn't know what it was. I initially wanted to rap, and then I realized I couldn't rap. It's not for everybody. Yeah. But not.
It's fun when you're freestyling, in traffic or something.
I loved music so much. I really wanted to be really good at it, and I just couldn't do it. So I had to go back to the drawing board. But I did.
You literally went back to the drawing board.
Oh yeah. I fell into this on accident, to be honest. Wow. Yeah, I didn't think it would be a career. I just was using it as a hustle. I was really like a art prostitute.
If you're not getting that creative flow going, and you don't know, okay, I've been in this rut, it's been a couple weeks, how do you get re-inspired and get those creative juices back flowing?
I used to look at the back of a dollar bill, because there's so much stuff going on in a dollar bill. That's how I create logos. That's where I used to draw a lot of my inspiration, from the back of a dollar bill, but that stopped working. I was stranded in LA because I partied for a week and blew all my money, and I needed to get back home. I had no motivation. My boy actually had a book called The War of Art instead of The Art of War. Yeah. But so I read that book and I just applied some of the principles from that book. He basically said it doesn't matter whether you're a writer, whether you're a creator or not. Even if you don't know what you're doing, just doodle until it makes sense. So now, and I approach it like it's a job, but then at the same time to keep all the way creative. I know when I'm good and I know when I'm bad, but I still make sure I do something regardless, whether it ends up being something. And that's why a lot of things end up being layered, because I can start one way and then end up somewhere else. So it doesn't even matter. Like, I just gotta put paint where it ain't. Ooh, I might come out of retirement into rapping. It's weird.
What is it like having your art displayed in stores, displayed in museums? Because I know you had your art displayed in several different storefronts, as well as a specific museum, right?
No, I haven't really had any placements in a museum. I've done art shows in galleries, but I don't play the art game and I don't look like an artist. Right. When I go to shows that are group shows that aren't people that look like me, they assume that I rap when I tell them I'm an artist, or they assume that I do other things.
Yeah, right.
So I don't fit the mold yet, and I don't know how to play the game. The most fulfilling thing to me is knowing that I have art all across the country with little to no promotion. It's just all off my Instagram and all off of word of mouth, essentially. Like I sent the piece to Japan, so now I could technically say I'm an international selling artist and all that. But what my goal this year is to lean into being different from everybody else that does art, and use that as my advantage into exploring into galleries and hopefully at one point museums, and just getting people to see me and see what my art is all about. Yeah. But like I've done trap art. Trap art was essentially the first place I showed art publicly that was outside of my city. I've been to LA with them. That was my first LA show, was a trap art show. I've done shows in San Francisco, Oakland.
Trap art is becoming a bigger and bigger thing over the years too.
They're international too. They went to Canada. They've been all over the East Coast. They literally go on tours and provide opportunities for up and coming artists. Shout out to Amina and Jesse. They're really dope people. And if you're a young artist and you're trying to establish your following, those are the people you should contact. And get a name, get some experience. And
I want to say when they first started, they was just like specifically in like Oakland, San Francisco area. Even like going to LA.
They were in San Francisco at 111 Minna. They were at a spot on Broadway. Yeah. Oh, side note, I am the only artist that has had a solo show through trap art. And they have phenomenal artists. It's like some crazy art that came through there. I'm still the only person that had it. I think it's because my volume is so crazy. Like, I'll show up to an event with 50 paintings that I did that week. Like half of them that week at least. Yeah, so they knew that I could pack out a place, and we sold out. It was a good experience. I made a few thousand at it.
You have to have been in that side.
No, I was at a lounge in San Francisco on Broadway, and I think the capacity was 600 people. Yeah, I did my thing. It was like 50 or 60.
Yeah, that's huge. Out of those 50, 60 pieces that you usually can create within a week, what would you have said have been your favorite piece out of all the pieces that you've created?
I haven't created it yet, but I love when I do my Simpsons mashups, like turning Homer into Tupac, turning Homer into Biggie, turning Homer, Bart, and Sideshow Bob into the Diplomats. That's, and then painting women. Painting women, like, it's a beautiful thing.
Well, Eric, you can either look in this camera, you can either look in this camera, or you can either look in this camera.
My dumb ass just looked at all of the cameras.
That's perfect.
All right.
Because you can explain to all three cameras what Eric Originals has in store for the next, few months. Where could they buy some of your art? Where could they follow you? What's your Facebook, your Twitter, all that?
Okay. My Instagram is the best place to check out my artwork and buy Eric Originals, all one word. IRKORIGINALS. Wow, I felt dumb just spelling that out loud because I didn't want to spell it wrong. But that's where you can get my art from. You can get merch and some prints from irkoriginals.com. And yeah, I'm going to be working on a solo show for this summer. I want to do something in Vallejo because we technically don't have a art scene that represents the city or that's a good representation. We got a whole bunch of the weird people from the city that used to do art. You know, like an art teacher that like drive around in the car with seashells and shit on it. We got those people, and that's not a fair representation of the city. So I want to do something dope that way before I go to LA and New York. And I got a call from some guys in Atlanta, so I'm probably gonna do something in Atlanta this year. So, and by November 18th, by my birthday this year, you will no longer be able to call me directly and get artwork or speak to me. I'm gonna be Hollywood. I'm changing. I'm evolving. I'm done. I want y'all to know that. Look at my eyes. I mean, they lightweight beady, but look at them. I'm not playing no more. The gloves are off. So everybody that bought something from me, I appreciate you. I really appreciate it. It means a lot.